How many people actually live in a state that their reality is a home, probably looks much like this, but in their mind, they're actually in prison? A lot of things been popping up. So we have a perception and we have the perceived perception, right? So we all come from different walks of life. We all come from different backgrounds, and then we all suffer from different traumas. So based on our traumas, we filter information through a couple different ways, past experiences, traumas, and attachments that we hold on to. So lately, the perception of things around me haven't necessarily been true, but I have found that it doesn't really matter, no matter the length of time that somebody is in one's life. If they perceive something to be one way, it's kind of hard to convince them that it's not that way until they see something else, and then they don't perceive it that way anymore. And for a minute there, I was trying to convince, in my last video that didn't pop up, I was trying to actually convince people that the perception that a lot of people have weren't really real. And I dwelled on it, and I was like, well, why is it so important for me to try to convince somebody rather than just acting out that nothing is actually occurring? So I actually fell victim of something that I spoke about with the video that actually didn't come out. And the past couple days I've been reflecting on it, and then lately I've just stopped trying to convince people that things aren't actually happening. And I actually started speaking with conviction, and now more and more people are realizing that ain't shit going on. Which I found that I was falling into that trap. And I think that I'm a pretty intelligent person. I don't know everything. A lot of these videos that I talk about or that I film about, it isn't anything that is scripted. It's not anything that I'm making up. It's just something that's currently going on in my life. But I deal with so many people, and I try to help so many people, and a lot of these things pop up for them. The perceived notion of reality is exactly that. It's our reality. Like, I had a perceived notion in prison that life would get better, although my current reality wasn't any better. So my perceived reality was much better than my current reality. And sometimes I have to stop and think about how many people around me have a perceived reality that is real, but then their perception of the future is much better. So it's really easy for them to get distracted around other people's lives and hone in on that and focus on that. And if that happened to me, I wonder how many other people it's happening to. How many times do we hear about a rumor? How many times do we hear about something going on and we just invest too much time and too much energy into it? It's like a spiral, you know, it's a vicious spiral rather than just letting it go. So I too also fell victim to that. I'm just very aware and I'm very perceptive, and I had to just tell myself, knock it the fuck off. So perceived reality is one thing, and then your actual reality is something different. Like in prison, for example. In prison, I had a reality that was a cell probably, I don't know, it wasn't much bigger than here. And for an X number of years, I lived in this box. So my actual reality was that I wasn't going anywhere for years. But my perceived reality, my imagination, my visions of wanting more and being more actually allowed me the opportunity to exist physically in that state. But how many people actually live in a state that their reality is a home, probably looks much like this, but in their mind they're actually in prison?
Yeah.
Like I had to think about that. And when we have an actual reality but a perceived reality that isn't even real, at what point do you make the distinction between this is real and that is fake, or vice versa? Like, the stories that we constantly tell ourselves are more important than what's actually going on, rather than this object or this object that I sit on. It's the stories that we constantly tell ourselves. So the story that I told myself, that I cared so much about the opinions of others when I really didn't,
Nice.
was a perceived reality that I had that just had to knock it the fuck off.
Are you talking about recently?
Yeah, recently. And if it happens to me, how often does it happen to other people? Whether if it's in sales or in business, or a business opens up, then it closes, and then people start gossiping and start rumors that, oh, that business closed because of X, Y, and Z, and the owner is doing everything in his humanly power to keep the business open, but he hears all of this nonsense or gossip and he starts to believe it. So his perceived reality, rather than his immediate reality, becomes so focused on other people's opinions that he loses focus of his own immediate reality. So we have like actual reality and perceived reality. So perception, it's all it is perception. And luckily for me, I have the ability of perspective, right? Because I had it rough. I don't really have it rough right now. Look where I'm at.
Yeah.
Come on, seriously? You know, when I hear about people having it rough, but their perceived rough or perceived trauma is no different than, say, somebody getting shot, because to them that is very, very traumatic. So I caught myself in this whirlwind of perceived reality rather than, you know what, these rumors or these people that constantly keep mentioning my name, that things are happening that aren't really happening. I guess my life must be much more important than theirs, because I don't really spend a lot of time gossiping about other people or imagining if my life was any different. I just create my life the way that it is. And it's a little sad.
Stay grounded in the work.
I stay grounded in the things that I believe in, for sure, yeah. And some of the things that I believe in may not go hand in hand with some of the people that I surround myself with. And that's okay.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine. So for the people that are currently struggling with a perception of a reality that isn't real, I just want to remind you that just really, really take a look around and be grateful for the people in your life, and be grateful for the people that actually really, really care about you, and maybe stop caring as much for the people that don't really care about you, that are spreading rumors or that's causing you to have a different perception of your own current reality. And I know that's hard to do, but I did it in prison, so I can do it out here. If I can get myself out of a state like that, where everything around me is violent and corrupt and what we call jailing, I can definitely do it out here, no problem. But even I got wrapped up in that for about 4 weeks. And then most recently I was like, what am I doing? This really isn't who I am. I just need to keep on living and keep doing the things that I was doing.
Yeah.
Because perception and perspective is very important. So I just want to end with that. And also this. Perceive this.